The QiYi M Pro is one of the newest budget cubes from QiYi. I have the magnetic version, but there is a magnet version that has just been released and a magnetic core version that was hinted at in the official trailer for this cube. I'll most likely get the magnet version and the magnetic core version later on, but I feel like the standard version with springs works well enough that I don't think the maglev would make much of a reasonable difference, which is similar to why I initially bought the flagship Tornado V3 rather than the Pioneer. The standard version is $10, while the maglev version is $14, and I have no idea how much the price of the core magnet one would be considering it hasn't been released yet, but most likely it will be around the $20 mark considering the pricing of the Super RS3M. Out of the box, it was really fast and it reminded me of an RS3M 2020 by the feel and sound a bit, although it was also really blocky. Probably a little bit more blocky than the Super RS3M. It was also covered in lube a bit, but probably not as much as the Tangyun and many other Giant cubes. After that, I put in some Mystic, Silk, and D&M, and it felt pretty good. For the features, the version I have pretty much has the basics for a good cube in the current market. It has a dual adjustment system and corner to edge magnets. The higher end maglev version adds maglev, of course, and the magnetic core magnetic version, wow, that's a confusing name, will add a magnetic core once that's released. The corner cutting on this cube is pretty good. It can do 45 degrees normal corner cutting. Everything else is pretty easy. And for reverse corner cutting, it can do about this much. And after that point, it can't do it. That wasn't normal corner cutting over there. This is the boundary between normal and reverse corner cutting. Yeah, it's pretty good. The customization system is pretty similar to the GTS 3's dual adjustment system in that it has a spring compression system and a screw to adjust the axis distance. It is hand adjustable, but it is a bit difficult to grip and you do have to do this a bit and look at the notch to check what setting you're on. But it's pretty alright. It gets the job done. You will need a screwdriver to adjust the axis distance as you aren't given one in the box. Now that we have all of that out of the way, before I talk about my final thoughts on this cube, let's hear from fellow cubing YouTuber Stuff on his thoughts on this cube.
Hey, what's up? This is Max, aka Stuff, and here is what I think about the QiYi M Pro. Okay, so here's my cube, and I actually lubed it prior to this while I was doing my unboxing on my channel, but yeah, so far I really like this cube. It is kind of gummy right now because of all that lube inside of it, but it is a super great option if you're looking for something that's around $10. I don't think it beats the RS3M 2020 in my opinion, because this just feels a little bit less consistent for my times. The outside, it feels very frosted, unlike UV coated GAN cubes, but I mean, that's kind of what you can expect from a $10 cube. At the same time, I kind of like the feel of it. It feels very much like a Yushin Little Magic, one from back in the day and ones that you can still get today. It's a good cube, don't get me wrong. It has that like clicky feeling, kind of tactile, and the way I set it up made it a little bit more controllable, because I remember out of the box, it felt very fast and I kind of saw myself catching a little bit on the cube. But yeah, once again, here's the corner cutting test. It's absolutely insane. Reverse corner cutting, or this is regular corner cutting. I don't even know what the corner cutting stuff is, but you can see about the performance. Like, it performs just like any 3x3. But yeah, I really enjoy the cube. It feels super tactile. I usually get about half a second to a second slower than my usual times on like a flagship cube such as the Tornado V3, but otherwise, if you are looking for something that is a different feel, maybe a little bit of a lighter feel than the RS3M 2020, or something that you just want to like spice up your collection with these cool color shades, which I'm kind of digging. I like this sort of like pastel, like Easter egg sort of colors. This is definitely a cube you want to go for. So, and with that being said, thank you so much to the Speedy J for having me on his YouTube channel. It was a pleasure to collab and share my thoughts on this cube. Thank you so much.
Thank you Max aka Stuffs for being part of the video and providing your thoughts on this cube. And now it's time to talk about my thoughts on this cube. So I've done more than 2,000 solves on this cube, and it's safe to say I really like this cube. It reminds me of the RS3M a lot in terms of feel and sound, and I perform just as well on it as I can with my other cubes. The blockiness of the cube doesn't really hinder me that much, although I do get some catches sometimes, but that's probably due to my turning style. I find the cube faster than I would prefer, but I've gotten used to it the more solves I do. I don't really mind the customization system, considering the setting it was out of the box worked pretty well for me after some break-in, although I did change the settings once, but then put it back to the default settings after. I don't really like the matte finish on this cube, and I've been trying to wear out the finish by doing a bunch of solves, and it has started going away a bit. This is probably going to be my backup main in case I leave my main cube at home or want a different cube to solve on at the moment. Do I recommend it? If you have something like an RS3M and like the feel, sound, and performance of it and want another cube as a backup or to replace it, then yes, get it. But if you have an RS3M and Super RS3M and you're looking for something with a different feel, customization system, or something that isn't blocky and you have the money for it or are willing to save money for it, I would recommend either a ball core YS3M or the Tornado V3 flagship, as those have core-to-core magnets which would help the cube feel a lot more stable. Overall, it's a really good cube, albeit really blocky, and it reminds me of an RS3M a little bit. I think that's pretty much it. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.